Okay, we're going to be investigating point of view this week, and I'm having you in your assignment home in on one concept, one practice, formal practice in regard to point of view, which is called free indirect style, or if you want to sound really scholarly, free indirect discourse. It often is used as. What is free indirect style? Well, we all probably know point of view, first person being spoken by an I, or perhaps a we, if there's a first person plural, third person being a removed narrator, he, she, so on, second person being you. And some of you may be writing your stories at the moment in first person, and some may be doing third. Second is unlikely. There are stories in second, and it's a big challenge and a big restriction. But today I want you, or this week I want you to focus on this particular third person style, which is free indirect discourse or free indirect style. And as I've explained in the assignment, what happens in free indirect style is you have a third person narration that dips into the mind of a character. And in essence, without changing into first person, kind of pushes toward first person. The example I gave was something like, here's the third person, here's the normal third person, Stacy sat through the last piece at the concert. She found it totally boring. And if you're writing in free indirect style, it might be something more like, then it was the last piece, thank God. How boring, how dreary this music was. Now you're not exactly saying being I, Stacy, but you're dipping into her voice and then maybe coming back to the third person. And this is an incredible resource because what does it do? Well, first of all, it creates a movement between your remove as a third person narrator setting up this playing board in which different characters are going to create different actions, and your investment in the actual thick of the action in the consciousness of a human being. And doing that will give your story the feeling of reality, and moving back and forth will also, I think, be pleasurable for the reader to have different closenesses or distances from the action. You know, this kind of alternation is something we've talked about a lot, even really from your first assignment, your scene assignment. You're alternating between, if not different points of view, different aspects of the action. And you can really enliven not just the action, but the very texture of your writing this way. The poet Robert Frost once talked about what he called sentence sounds. These being the kind of intonations behind the things people say. So if I say, "God, I'm upset with you," behind that, and Frost says the best way to hear this is behind a closed door, where you can't hear the words, but you hear the intonations. Behind that is, right? Or, it might be something a lot nicer. "I have never been so happy as this." You get in touch with almost that kind of primate, pre-verbal and yet vocal force behind the language. And the attitude in it. Attitude is the word here. And that's what I'd really like you to focus on this week as you do these two versions, the normal kind of withdrawn third person, and then the invested free indirect style. So if nothing else, this is going to help you to modulate and inflect your prose by not simply considering your story as being in a certain set point of view, which it will be, but thinking of that point of view as one that can change and that can you can zoom the lens or zoom out, and it's an incredible resource for a fiction writer to have. Okay, I look forward to seeing what you come up with.